On the last now. Munster picks up across them. Here comes Air Coach. It's on the ground. It's a try.
Hello and welcome to Thursday Lines. I'm your host, Luke O'Brien, aka OB. Thursday Lines is brought to you by Little Birdie TV, topsport.com.au, Punting Form and Comics Lounge. We'll quickly go to MG and say welcome to you, MG.
Thanks, OB. Massive week in sport. Unbelievable. One of the great weeks so far with the Ashes. We'll touch on the golf. What an unbelievable finish in the US Open, and Royal Ascot going on at the moment. We've just been talking State of Origin before we've come onto the show. We've got a lot to unpack. Yeah, it's been one of the great weeks. We haven't even started any of the footy codes yet.
Absolutely, it's just a great week in sport over, especially over in the UK, especially as we say hello to Toprope, who is off the long run, and your friend, your old foe, your old sparring partner, Brad Fittler, just does it again.
What a fucking idiot. That bloke, seriously. Honestly, when you think you've plumbed the depths of how stupid a coach can be, and to see the performance last night, absolutely deserved, and nothing summed it up more than at the end of the game when Jerome Luai, the most selfish player in the competition, gets himself sent off and then puts out a stupid Instagram post afterwards saying, "You idiots will have to go to work tomorrow, chill out." That's the kind of idiot that Brad Fittler has decided to not only put in the New South Wales side, but to stay loyal to. And that's the kind of bloke that's copped across New South Wales another series. Absolutely astonishing. I don't even think Brad Fittler he should be coaching Game 3. I think he's utterly ridiculous. It's time to reset things. They've got a dead rubber to play for, and everyone will say Origin is Origin. They're not going to get rid of Fittler, but he should not be there for Game 3. He is not up to the job.
I heard this morning that some wholesale changes that New South Wales will sort of look to Game 3 to blood a few new players. Anything on the horizon there?
Well, they should be blooding a whole lot of players for looking to the future. But the problem is Brad Fittler and Greg Alexander are the two sole selectors, and they're not going to be there next year. That's why I think we need to move on. It'd be historic to have a first caretaker coach involved in an Origin game, but I think it has to happen. But look, Brad Fittler's last act isn't going to be to drop James Tedeschi, but James Tedeschi clearly has to go. He had another bad performance. He's been given enough run to bounce back. They've got to try. I think the future is probably going to be Ryan Pappenhausen, the fullback, but if Latrell's fit, he has to be there. Jerome Luai should never play for New South Wales again. He should be deported from New South Wales and only allowed to return during away games. Absolute embarrassment to the state. Mitchell Moses tried hard, but clearly it was the wrong decision. Had to go with Nico Hines. Didn't go with him. I would not be surprised to see, the likes of Josh Adokar gone. I thought he was very poor again last night. But if Brad Fittler's selecting the team, who knows? He might just pick Damien Cook straight out centre. Who knows?
Cook wasn't great, but I felt for him. He tried his heart out. He was absolutely out of position. But
it would honestly be like throwing one of us into centre. It was that stupid. I got a message from a pretty high-ranking league administrator last night. You are aware that Cameron Murray played in the centres during the absolute demolition of the Roosters in a round 25 game one year, and in a key semi-final against Manly in 2019. You had Hudson Young, who plays a fairly wide edge back row, who could easily have slotted into the centres. You've got, we're not going to go into all the interchange rotations here, but there were three more qualified people, two of whom were on the bench at the time, who could have played in that centre position, and you go with Damien Cook. And not only that, then you take away any potential punch Cook gives in the middle. I felt sorry for Cook. He did his absolute best, but at the end of the day, he probably cost the Blues 3 or 4 tries. He certainly was. He certainly didn't really understand how to run an escort back on that first one. He dropped one over the line. I don't blame him for any of it. He shouldn't have been put in that position.
It was just a diabolical night all round for New South Wales. It's probably a good thing if they sort of went down with a bit of a fight. Well, Fittler might survive, but now it's just diabolical. He's got to go.
Oh, there's no chance of getting.
How good a week is it, OB, when you get to enjoy New South Wales just ragging on their own team, And the poor English over in the cricket just having to, shut up shop as well when the Aussies get over the line. I mean, the week hasn't even hit Thursday lunchtime, and it doesn't get much better than this.
They're all turning on each other. It's fantastic.
You got Whinge in Poms and Whinge in New South Wales from fair dinkum. How do you not play Hines going into the game, and then you see what that? And then I saw Fittler in one of the clips, Toprope. Almost saying, Cookie did a good job, that we planned for that. If one of the outside backs went down, that I'd spoke to Cookie. I mean, that
makes it worse. It makes it worse. You've thought about this.
But also at half time, he was saying, they need to lift. It's we, mate. Like, we're all in this together. It's just, he threw them under the bus, and he's just got to go.
A coach's personality job really is to get your team prepared. Well, they obviously are prepared by Slater. And to make sure that you put your players in the best possible position to win. He's not only failed to do that, he's put them in the worst possible position. He may as well have got them one by one and thrown them all in the front of a moving train. But utterly ridiculous. What about, I can't recall a game where a team has had in the first half 57% of possession and failed to score a point. No, he failed to score a point. Never looked like scoring a point.
Yeah, never looked like
Never even got over the line.
No, never looked like it.
Is it surprising? Jerome Luai has very few tries. Jerome Luai is very rarely a creator. Why wouldn't you pick Cody Walker then? Utterly ridiculous. We've had some sorry coaches over the years from New South Wales. Just haven't got it. This is the saddest state of affairs that the Blues have ever been. That was humiliating. Jerome Luai punching his and Josh Adokar, who I'm very, very fond of in normal circumstances, grabbing their Blues, acting like it was some moment of pride for getting involved there. You guys were absolutely disgusting. They embarrassed the state last night. It was, I don't think it's too far. It is the worst humiliation the Blues have ever copped. When they were getting beaten by 50, that was by an exceptional Queensland team. This isn't an exceptional Queensland team. This is just a very good Queensland team that is very, very, very well coached and prepared. And New South Wales did not put any to work in. What about the Crichton run? He was away. He got run down by Daly Chervins. Great chase. Normally, you would just flick it to the other side, much like Queensland did when they scored off the Patrick Carrigan offload and scored down the other side because the other team's so short of numbers. All Queensland chased back. There was no New South Wales from there. Damien Cook had to cut back in. Utterly embarrassing.
And we'll keep moving, actually, top right. But another game tonight, the women's state of origin. Have you the Queensland women $1.77, the New South Wales women $2.05, the line minus 1.5, over under 34.5. Anything doing there for you, top rope?
Yeah, a lot of Blues tonight. It's interesting spot for first ever series, 2 games. It's going to be decided on aggregate. So Queensland actually don't need to win this. They just need to not get beaten by more than 7. So I think that plays into it a little bit. I think pretty inspirational. Isabel Kelly's back after sustaining what looked like a pretty serious throat injury in game 1. I like the changes to the halves. I like seeing Jess Surges back in the centres. It was a pretty ordinary game in the opener. I kind of expected a bit more. The handling was bad, but I think the final score probably flooded Queensland a little bit in the end there. So New South Wales, more Jillaroos. I think they can bounce back in this one. Can they win the series? Not sure about that, but I think they can probably do 1.5.
And Tamika Upton anytime, just load up. Morale.
Queensland. You cannot get enough on it. Get around Tamika.
As we look at the scores for you, MG, from round 14 of the AFL, another shortened round with the 3-week bye period. We've got 1 to go, 1 to get through for the suffering fans.
Yeah, six games only this week, last week and this week. We started the first night, pretty good game actually, Port and Geelong, and Port continue on the merry way, 11 straight now, and one of the best third quarters probably of the year. So if you're a football fan and you want to watch a replay of how good football's played, the third quarter's worth 20 minutes of your time. I'm not sure where Geelong sit now. They've lost 4 out of the last 5, and they go into a tough match, which we'll talk about shortly, with Melbourne tonight. The next match, Brisbane got the job done over Sydney. I think the scoreboard flattered Sydney there. Their season's done. It was a pretty ordinary game, but Brisbane just getting the job done. If they'd kicked straight, the margin would have been far greater. The next one, Giants get the job done. They're working their way into their year at the moment. Freo didn't rock up. They may as well have not turned up. They were disgraceful. Lost by 70 points. So it just continues to show Fremantle slow footy doesn't win your games. So they were very disappointing. See if they can bounce back. Richmond got the job done against St Kilda. Once the rain came, it just favours Richmond. They just played better in the wet, and
They did.
and they got the job done. So, yeah, very good performance there. St Kilda's win-loss record now is a sequence at 10 games now, so they're very inconsistent. Carlton finally get the win over the Gold Coast, another team that didn't end up playing as well. They were shocking, actually, the Gold Coast Suns. Carlton got the job done, but yeah, after quarter time, I thought the Suns were well and truly in it. They had the game on their terms, and then 5 minutes later, the game was shot to pieces. So very disappointing there for Gold Coast and Carlton fans. Just I wouldn't take too much form out of it, but they definitely needed a win, and Vossi gets the heat taken off him for a week. Last game of the round, the Bulldogs just got the job done. I think the Kangaroos, they're trying hard. They just have just don't have the depth to get the job done for long enough. But yeah, the Bulldogs get an important win and continue for the final search.
As we look at the round 14 stats, it was a week for the favourites, 6 of 6, and the covered the line at 4 of 6, the over total 5 of 6, and the home team 5 of 6. So a good weekend all round for the punters if you got something there. And the season just keeps on rolling on. The favourites at 63% and the over total at 54% is probably a couple of things to keep an eye on, MG.
Yeah, product's going pretty good. Yeah, one for the punters, as you said, and the scoring's going pretty good. So it was a healthy week.
As you look at the scores for the NRL round 16, top rope, a couple of good games and a couple of ones to not buy on name a game.
There weren't so any good games last week, have they? It was one of those weeks that were without Origin stars. It was very fun.
Roosters Knights. It was close, and Cowboys Panthers.
Most games, yeah. Look, goal, Golden Point. And there was some, I guess, some more interesting games. I wouldn't call any of them of a high quality.
Okay.
Yeah, the Cowboys Panthers game was missing 11 regular first graders on Origin plus Cleary. So. Was as you expect, Cowboys off the map and got the job done there. Those who bet late and got -1.5 were very happy with that try at the end.
Great try by Drinkwater right at the end.
Underrated player, Scotty Drinkwater. That was a very good try. Roosters nice but dreadfully disappointing. Pressure heaping on Adam O'Brien there. Roosters much needed victory for them. Eels thrashed an embarrassing Manly 34-4. Real questions going to be asked there because they will probably be without Tom Trbojevic for the rest of the year post Origin. Storm Tigers. Storm 28-6 scoreline up flooded the Tigers. The Storm could have probably put 50 on that night. They were very, very good. And the Sharks Bulldogs 48-10, a score that completely flooded the Bulldogs. It should have been 70 the way the Dogs played. It was abhorrent. Nico Hines probably not showing what he could do at Origin level, but showing what he could do against a reserve round under 16s team, but was very impressive nonetheless.
As the round 16 stats saw 4 of 5 favourites covered the line 4 of 5, the over total 2 of 5, and the home team 3 of 5. So not a bad week there for the favourites if you're a favourites backing punter, and the season just keeps on ticking along. 77 out of 121 favourites at 64%, and the home team at 60%. Probably the two main ones there. Top rope.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a lot to be taken out of last week though. It was again without the big players and the most important players. So. Onwards and upwards to round 7.
As we look at the global wrap for this week, and we spoke about the cricket in the opener, and what a week it was, MG. I think last week we had a good judge saying that he didn't know why the Aussies were favourites, and that's sort of it's just sort of showing that Bazball's become Gazball, and Lyon and Cummins just got the job done. Old Top Rope.
Who said that? Was that me, was it?
You made a good one. You made a good point.
I went to bed probably 12:30 on whenever I finished Monday night, Tuesday night, whatever it was, and was fairly confident I was spot on the money there. So
yeah, you were.
It was nothing conversation, but look, I hate saying this, but you've got to give kudos to both teams, and I appreciate England's aggression in trying to win the match. And not just letting it pay out to a draw. So certainly made a good contest. Yeah, Pat Cummins, absolutely heroic effort. And Usman Khawaja shows that Justin Lamb may well be in the Brad Fittler category for how long he had kept him on the sidelines for.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I unlike Top Rope, going to bed early, I waited it out until it was 4:30 in the morning or something. But yeah, I couldn't go to sleep. It was awesome to watch. And you're right, England probably should have won the game, definitely. Absolutely. I think. But yeah, just guts it out, the captain, and what a performance. So looking forward to Test 2. Comes up next week, and I think the betting top rope's pretty similar to Test 1. It shouldn't change too much.
There it is for the listeners. England 252, the Aussies 212, the line at 0.5, and the draw is at 460. Not sure what the line is, but
yeah, no line there. But they go to the Oval next. So top rope. How did your any team changes for your mob, the English, going into Test 2? They've probably got to find a spinner because his finger's not working.
He's got a blister, poor thing.
I know you're a fan. I know you're a fan of blisters in sport.
He's playing in the AFL. He's got blister issues.
Poor bloke couldn't bowl 15, 20 overs before his finger gave out. No, well conditioned.
It was. I don't think he'll be looking at too many changes. Look, it was a close game, and I think there's a chance they're going to be rotating some of their pace attack. Wouldn't surprise me to see Jimmy Anderson sit out for Mark.
Yeah, I think Mark Wood. I think a bit of increased pace. I think there was the
variation.
Wood, Robinson, Broad, and Anderson all very similar. So they just need someone to try and fill a few of the Aussies in, get under their grill.
I think the Aussies will bring in Stark as well.
I think so. I think Stark for bowling, and it doesn't look good for the Poms.
If Stark's coming into the team, I'll tell you what, get the account on England. He's hoping.
Here he goes. Oh, you potted Lion last week. How did he win?
Mate, Australia's won, and their two best batsmen have not made a run. So anyway. Well, as we'll keep moving on to the golf, fantastic finish. Wyndham Clark. Now, what a beautiful American name that is. Ricky Fowler, obviously, led from the first round and sort of faltered in the final round. Then Cam Smith, finally came good. So plenty happening. And Rory, again, I think it's his 10th or something top 5 finish in the major since he last won one, something extraordinary. But just a fantastic tournament.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It feels like what it finished 3 mornings ago. It feels like it finished 3 months ago. There's been that much going on. William Clark, it's kind of history will soon judge kind of where he fits, where he can kind of take it to the next level, or whether he's just one of those random Gary Woodland-esque winners of a US Open. But it was an incredible performance, and his short game was something unbelievable on that last day. Like getting himself out of strife, he was fantastic. On to Rory. Like, seriously, I've never seen a guy try not to win a tournament less and hope to have it handed to him than Rory. Like, did Rory do anything wrong? Not really. He hit nearly every green. Didn't get a putt with inside. It didn't get a first putt with inside 20 feet most of the day. But I don't think that's the way to go about trying to win a tournament, especially if you're Rory McIlroy and you're a class runner. Perhaps we finally got to Ricky. Not a renowned winner in the best of times. It probably wasn't looking that good with a local hometown US Open, but kudos to Ricky. Great to see Ricky Fowler. Having Ricky back is great for golf. So, wonderful for him. Other news, Cam Smith, you mentioned, charged home when it was all too little too late, I guess. But
he's ready for his defence coming up in the British Open, no doubt.
He's been warming. I don't know if you've been watching the Live much, but he's certainly been warming to kind of some improved results and that. So, I think he's very well placed, and I thought his back nine on what was a hard but probably pretty disappointing LA Country Club was a real highlight for that last day.
Another great weekend of sport coming up, but right now it's time for Thursday Lions, brought to you by topsport.com.au, family owned and operated for 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with topsport.com.au as we look at the AFL Premiership prices, MG, and pretty similar at the top.
Yeah, there's a bit, top 4 have really separated there, OB, and it looks like just adjusting my current ratings now for the rest of the year, I think the top 4 are pretty cemented and clear in terms of how they'll finish. Just the order will change. Still, I agree with the market having Geelong at the next bracket. I think with their run home and everything, they got a big game tonight, obviously in Melbourne we'll talk about shortly, but they look likely to figure in the finals, and I actually agree with the market all the way through there. OB, I've got Richmond actually finishing 9th on my current ratings, and that 8, not in that order, but that's how I think they'll finish. So I think the bookies have got it pretty much spot on, and it'll just fluctuate going home for the rest of the year when the bigger teams play each other.
As we look at your round 14 stats, 2 of 5, POT minus 16.32. A bit of a tough week for the AFL Stings, but we're still on profit on turnover, still up for the whole year. So we'll be back.
One match was costly there. I invested into kept going along the opposed Carlton train with Gold Coast Suns. They were deplorable, and also in the over in the total there. So the under. So that. I was going okay until that match. That was costly for me.
As we look at the NRL Premiership prices, obviously over the State of Origin bye weeks, not a lot doing there. Toprope.
Yeah, nothing worth noting there at all. You can't take anything from Cronulla's win last week. They were the only team to really, or Penrith lost really to be involved in those ones. I kind of suspect though that I'll be interested to see the ramifications of Origin 2 on the Penrith players. Particularly, Jerome Lewis and how that played out there. I think Souths are there to pick them off this year, the Panthers. So, I'll quite much South. You can't really knock on the Broncos, and little whispers, perhaps maybe not too far away back to the Storm.
The Storm, okay.
Getting back in Origin time because it's starting to believe a player of his ability is yet to play Origin.
Yeah, exactly right. As we look at your the GGOA, we might just sort of skip through that for this week. There's always next week, and if you're a punter and you don't mind the stats, well, I think it's time to turn it around a little bit there for the GGOA. But GGOA and AFL Sting still available in the Little Birdie live shop. So for all your serious punting action, we're about to get back on the winners and bandwagon in a big way. As we look at Geelong and Melbourne Thursday night down at HBA Stadium, the Cats $1.86, the Demons $1.95, the over under 148.5. If I was betting, I think I'd probably go the Demons here. But anyway,
that was a long thought process, OV. Yeah, I'm actually joining you. The betting's actually flipped here from early in the week. Melbourne started 1, got out to 2-point favourites, and now Geelong are just half a point or point favourite in some of the markets, just on the back of the news that Oliver hasn't come up again for Melbourne. So, he was almost reported to play 2 weeks ago and has missed again. So he's hasn't got himself right. So that probably cancels out. Well, it does cancel out with Dangerfield missing for Geelong. So I think the betting's probably about right. I was keen on Melbourne with Oliver playing. I've kind of got a bit cold on it, but unfortunately locked into Melbourne. So I'll still be cheering for them. As a general rule, I don't like going against Geelong at the best of times, but with Oliver in and Dangerfield out, I thought that swung at Melbourne's way. Now it's equal back. So Geelong head-to-head against Melbourne. They've won 10 of their last 15. Melbourne have covered 6 of the 8 against them. So I just think this will be a good match. Unfortunately, the weather might have a big say in it. It might spoil the party in terms of a contest and the standard of it. The rain's due to come in around the 6, 7, 8 o'clock, so it might interfere with this game. So it's going to be probably a stay out, and the weather's just going to be the total's going to be a watch at this stage, and I might chime in late to see what the weather does.
Oh, beautiful. The Dragons and the Warriors kick off the NRL on Friday night. The Dragons $2.60, the Warriors $1.50, the line 6.5, over under 43.5. They've been in the news a little bit. The Dragons with the Ben Hunt news. Do you think they can get one over the Warriors? Toprope.
Yeah, it's probably the only thing giving me pause about this game. I like the Dragons a lot here. They won the last 3 against the Warriors. Covered 11 of their last 14 as an underdog at their suburban home grounds. They've got a great home record this year. Big splits. They kind of got to really separate the home and away splits there. And the Warriors, they have covered just 5 of their last 14 as a favourite in Australia. So not a stellar record there. I think the line here is way too big, but this all depends on, one, whether Ben Hunt plays. He probably should. He didn't play a lot last night in Origin, but whether he wants to or whether he tries to continue to leverage this to get out of the club, we'll soon see. So backing the Dragons plus 6.5, we'll keep a strong eye on the news and probably double down if it is confirmed he will be playing.
St Kilda versus Brisbane Friday night at the Dome. The Saints $2.12, the Lions $1.68, the line 3.5, over under 168.5 mg.
Your team, the Saints. You keen on them again?
Yeah, I am. I think Max King might have a big day out here. I don't think Harris Andrews likes playing on Max, so I think he might go all right, Maxie.
That's fair. St Kilda actually did open favourite in this started a point favourite in the betting here at the start of the week. To my amazement, actually, I quite can't believe that they start favourite. I had Brisbane closer to 10-point favourite here, so we've double hit this early. I think Brisbane are the bet of the week and maybe close to maybe the bet of the year so far, actually. So I can't believe that St Kilda started favourite. It's gone to 3. I don't think it'll go too much more just with the way the market's trending, but I like Brisbane here. The key for me is St Kilda off a 6-day break, and they're also coming off the wet where they played Richmond last week. I just think going from the wet where they lost, coming onto a fast deck at the Dome might work against them. Brisbane love a fast deck. They
play well at the Dome.
Won 6 out of their last 7 at the Dome, Brisbane. Even though St Kilda are 5-2, so they obviously it's their home ground. But yeah, Brisbane actually absolutely love playing at the Dome, and I just think the leg speed St Kilda might test them a bit. Brisbane, this will be a high scoring game as well. It'll be a track meet, and I think that'll play into Brisbane's hands. So yeah, I'm keen for Brisbane. I'm not sure the market will keep rolling, but yeah, I'm very keen. Well, I've already played Brisbane, but yeah, it'll be a strong cheer.
Bet of the year, you heard it here on the Little Birdie Thursday Lines pod. Storm versus Sea Eagles, Saturday night down here in Melbourne. The Storm $1.22, the Sea Eagles $4.20, the line -12.5, over under 43.5. Looked a nasty injury last night to Turbo, Toprope.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of deal with the devil he's made, but he's paying the piper right now because what a shame to have one of the most talented rugby league players ever just constantly. Yeah, I don't know what he's made of, but it's tough to watch. But he'll be out for an extended period here. Look, was very keen on Melbourne anyway. I suspect following the series win, there's a good chance of Daly Cherevins will be rested if he made him soap it up since
he was outstanding last night.
Was outstanding, pretty stiff not man of the match if you ask me. That cover tackle was inspirational and kind of really solidified Queensland's dominance in that one. Got to be with the Storm here though, regardless of whether Cherevins plays or not. The Storm just absolutely pound bad teams. 27-11 against the spread in their last 38 against teams outside the 8. They are 16-9 against the spread at Amy Park. They hold form off a big win, 35-20. It's a number off a win of more than a score. Manly, not good travellers, 8-21 against spread in the state. I was very confident Melbourne, and look, I don't expect Cameron Munster to be sober, but I still think it'll be enough for them to cover the 12.5.
Straight from Little Cats to Amy Stadium, I think, for Cameron Munster.
Back again.
Yeah, that's right.
The Cowboys.
Fremantle, Essendon, Saturday night over in Perth. The Dockers $1.65, the Bombers $2.15, the line -4.5, over under 156.5. A really good gauge to see where the Bombers are at, I think, this one.
They're also for Freo coming off a disaster last week. They were, I don't even know how to describe that performance going to the Giants. I know it's a decent road trip to go there, but to lose to the Giants by 70 points.
They were awful.
They were awful. So, the market's actually come for Freo so far, 3.5 to 4.5. So I definitely think the bounce back factors are key here for how people judge the game and also how the punters want to get involved on their home deck also. And Essendon coming off the bye. So for those factors, I understand why the Freo
and Draper in a little bit of doubt as well for the Bombers.
Yeah, and also Darcy looks like he'll be back for Freo, which is, I think, one of their most important players. Essendon will get back Parrish in the midfield, but yeah, Darcy in for Freo makes a big difference. I just think, the Freo would have had a long week on the track and they're going to bounce back. But yeah, not a game I'm going to get involved in just for those factors. Essendon have won 4 out of the last 5 against Freo. Not an easy road trip to go over there. Freo have covered 9 of the last 11. I do think it'll be an under game. There's weather around. It's at night. The total has gone from 158 down to 156, and both teams, Freo, last 3 games have been under, and Essendon's 4 out of 5 of the under. So this could be an ugly game, but important for both. But I'm going to stay out.
Oh, staying out. Okay. Rabbitohs versus the Cowboys Sunday afternoon. The Rabbitohs $1.42, the Cowboys $2.85, the line -7.5, over under 44.5. Toprope.
Sorry, this here, my screaming child is. So we'll hit this one pretty brief, but very keen on the Rabbitohs in this one. Regardless of the misuse of Cook and Murray last night, I think they've got enough self-awareness to suggest they will be able to get through. With disappointment of that, they've won 7 straight against the Cowboys. Cowboys are poor travellers, covered just 80-28 in the state. The Bunnies are good favourites, 41-25 against the spread of the favourites. So happy to be with the Bunnies here.
We'll whip through the NRL games quickly for you, Top Rope. The Dolphins, 260. The Eels, $1.49. The Line, 6.5. Over under 44.5.
Yeah, Dolphins, great bet here. Betting on teams getting absolutely hammered. Teams off conceding 58.
Fins up.
Fins up, baby. Teams off conceding 58 plus, 19-5 against the spread since 2008. Those with 10 or more days rest off conceding 50 plus, 14-3 against the spread. Only reason to back them. I can't imagine Mitchell Moses was feeling great after that Origin defeat. Eels would cover just 2 of 8 in the state.
Panthers and the Knights sees the Panthers $1.27, the Knights $3.80, the Line minus 10.5, over under 41.5.
Yeah, lean towards the Panthers. You don't want to back them. Don't ever want to back Jerome Lua ever again. But Panthers are dominant at Penrith Stadium, 21-10 against the spread. They've covered 11 of 14 off a loss. The Knights, they've won just 1 of their last 13 against the Panthers. I played them close earlier in the year, but different kettle of fish now. Covered just 4 of their last 31 off conceding, 18 off the so in with the Panthers here.
Broncos and the Titans in the NRL Q clash. The Broncos $1.32, the Titans $3.40, Line minus 9.5, over under 47.5.
We just call them local derbies, mate. We don't names. I love the points this one, actually. Don't favour any side. I think the line's about right. A few backing up from either side, but absolutely love the total. 3 of the last 4 have hit 59 plus. The overs hitting 4 of the last 5. Big over spots for both teams here. The Titans can score quickly and they can concede even quicker. Broncos are a great attacking side. Love the over in this one. 47.5, but can go high.
And the Roosters and the Raiders, $1.62. The Roosters, the Raiders $2.30. The Line minus 3.5, over under 42.5.
Yeah, not a lot of confidence in this one. Lean towards the Raiders just because they are much better than underdog. Covered 4 of the last 5 as an underdog. The Roosters 2 of the last 10 as favourite. Don't have a great feel for the game, but probably for the desperados out there. I'll be taking the Canberra plus. We'll
let you go, Top Rope. We say thank you very much for joining us, as always, from beautiful God's country up in Orange. And just a reminder that GGOA is available for $33 a week in the littlebitty.live shop. Have a great weekend, my friend.
What an absolute pleasure, gents, and we'll see you all soon.
Beautiful. As we look through the final AFL games for the round, the Swans $1.03, the Eagles $11, the Line minus 50.5, the over-under 170.5.
Yes, AFL's tried to hide this on a Saturday afternoon.
Forgot it was on.
Yeah, while the races are still going. Yeah, hard to build this one up. Wouldn't want to be the marketing person doing this, but yeah, it's not a good look when the team's coming off 2 losses and only won 5 for the year as a 50-point favourite. They did open 58.5 and it's come down all the way down to 50. I think both teams will get a lot of players back potentially in this game as well. West Coast probably more than Sydney, so we'll just see the teams how they line up. Be a day game. The weather looks fine. I think there's points in this game. I'm going to leave the line alone. I haven't partaken in any West Coast games, I don't think, this year, and I'll continue to stay out. They've lost 36 of their last 39, lost 15 straight away games. It's just hard to entertain at this stage. Sydney have covered 9 straight against West Coast, so you would suggest a smashing is on board, but geez, the way Sydney are playing at the moment and their lack of scoring, I'm not sure how they're going to cover that amount of margin, but yeah, I just think 168.5. I just think this will be a loose game. West Coast played in a lot of over games, so if I was going to have a bet, I'd back the over.
As we look at a couple of great games on Sunday, to be honest, the Magpies $1.33, the Crows $3.20, the Line minus 19.5, over under 167.5. The Crows at the MCG, it'll be good to see how they go down here.
Yeah, I agree. That's a very good observation. I think. Yeah, obviously, this is a top 8 clash, 2nd v 8th on the ladder. Collingwood obviously just lost before the bye to Melbourne by 4 points. They come at them late again, so they've only lost 2 games for the year, whereas Adelaide have won 7 games for the year, and their win-loss sequence now sits at 6. So they're a bit inconsistent. They're very good at home, not so good on the road. So that's how we land at this line of around 2019, which is, I think about right. It's hard to come in either way. I just think Collingwood off the bye is going to check, even though they've won 8 out of the last 9. I just think off the bye has been a query so far in the last couple of weeks. At the G, they're 7-1 this year, and as I said, only just lost to Melbourne in their last match by 5, and they've covered 9 out of their last 10 at the G. So if you like Collingwood, I'm not going to talk you out of it. Adelaide have been indifferent on the road especially, so they'd be hard to come into. And I think the total is about right in this game. But, yeah, looking forward to it. It'll be a good contest.
The final game of the 3-week split round by debacle sees the Suns $1.26, the Hawks $3.70, the line minus 23.5, over under 168.5. I think the Hawks might go okay here.
Yes, agree with you, OB. Another game they've had to try and hide. This game doesn't look pretty on paper, but, it is what it is. Sunday afternoon, you'll have to stick it out. But, yeah, the Gold Coast back at home, the bounce-back factor, a bit like Freo, so big games for both teams. And the Suns, if they have any ambitions of playing finals, have to win against Hawthorn. They were horrible against Carlton after quarter time last week. But, saying that, I think Hawthorn have shown being competitive the last month. The line plus 23.5 around that 4-goal mark, I think, is the play if you're playing. But, yeah, it's a tough game. I think there's better bets for the week. But if you're on fire or you're chasing either way, Hawthorn probably at the points is an easy cheer for you to finish out round 15.
Beautiful. Thank you, MG. A reminder, AFL Stings are available for $25 a week and a little bit of live shop for all your AFL betting action. Hopefully you've got some sleep after a big few days of sport, and then into Royal Ascot again tonight for you, my friend.
Yeah, just keep going. Just plug yourself into the wall and keep going. It's a huge week in sport, and why would you want to sleep?
Oh, exactly right. Sleep's overrated this time of year. But that's a wrap for this week's Thursday Lines. Thanks to MG and Toprope. Thanks to the listeners. You can follow us on YouTube. Find us in the Apple Store, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, wherever you listen to all your good podcasts. Follow at Little Birdie TV on Twitter and Instagram. Remember, follow all your footy betting action can be found at topsport.com.au. Join us next week. And remember, as always, punt well, punt responsibly, and have a great weekend, punters.